Ever felt your blood boil because of someone else's words or actions? Maybe someone cut in line, sent a rude message, or disrespected you in front of others. Suddenly, your heart races, your fists clench, and you feel it. Anger. It happens. To all of us. But here's the real question. What if you could stop that fire before it takes over? What if you never had to feel hijacked by anger again, no matter what anyone else says or does? Today, we're diving deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a timeless toolkit for mastering your emotions and keeping your peace, even in the most frustrating situations. If you've ever wished you could stay calm, no matter what the world throws at you, this video is for you. Let's explore the Stoic path to emotional freedom, starting with understanding what anger really is. Anger is a powerful, often overwhelming emotion. It grabs hold of us, suddenly, sharply, and before we know it, we're shouting, sulking, or plotting revenge. But what exactly is anger? At its core, anger is a response to perceived injustice or frustration. We feel it when someone wrongs us, when things don't go our way, when our expectations are violated. For example, imagine this. You're calmly driving home after a long day. Someone suddenly swerves in front of you without signaling. Instinctively, your chest tightens. You might honk, you might shout, you definitely feel anger rising. But according to Stoic philosophy, the anger doesn't come from the action itself. It comes from your judgment of the action. Let's say that again. It's not what happened. It's what you believed about what happened. The Stoics saw this as the key to mastering anger. They taught that external events do not have inherent emotional value. We are the ones who assign that meaning. That's why the same event can make one person furious and another person barely blink. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic minds, put it perfectly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, what does that mean for us? It means that anger isn't forced upon us, we allow it in. And if that's true, then we also have the power to stop it. Think of anger like a match. The spark is external, but the fire only burns if there's something inside you to fuel it, like dry wood. That wood is your expectations, your pride, your need for control. Remove the fuel, and the fire dies. This understanding is powerful, because once you truly see that your emotional response is a choice, you're no longer a victim of your own reactions. If there's one principle in Stoicism that can change your life immediately, it's the dichotomy of control. It's a simple idea, but its impact is profound. There are things you can control, and there are things you can't. Peace comes from knowing the difference. You can control your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, your responses. You cannot control other people's behavior, their opinions, the weather traffic, your past. The Stoics believed that most of our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from fighting what we cannot control, and anger is no exception. Let's go back to the driving example. Someone cuts you off. You can't control their recklessness, but you can control your reaction. You can choose whether you let it ruin your day or let it go within seconds. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's easy to get caught up in trying to fix, correct, or punish others. But that pursuit drains your energy and fuels your frustration. Why? Because you're focusing on the uncontrollable. The more you internalize this dichotomy, the more resilient you become. You stop trying to manage the world and start managing your own mind. And that's where your real power lies. Letting go of what you can't control isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Imagine this. You're in a heated conversation. Someone says something disrespectful. Every muscle in your body wants to snap back. But instead of lashing out, you pause. That pause, that's everything. That's the Stoic superpower. One of the most practical and transformative Stoic techniques is simple. Pause before you react. It may sound small, but in that pause, everything changes. In that tiny space between stimulus and response, you regain control. You shift from reactive to reflective. You allow your higher self, not your emotion, to take the lead. That's what Stoics practiced every single day. They trained themselves to take a breath before anger took the wheel. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about creating space. Space to observe. Space to assess. Space to choose your response instead of being ruled by it. Let's face it. We live in a world that rewards quick reactions, snap judgments, instant comebacks. But true strength lies in restraint, in mastering the moment before the moment controls you. So the next time you feel anger creeping in, try this. Because when you pause, you're no longer a prisoner of your emotions. You become the master. Let's bring it all together. Anger is real. It's natural. It's human. But it doesn't have to control you. It doesn't have to wreck your relationships, your day, or your peace of mind. With Stoicism, you learn to see anger not as an uncontrollable beast, but as a teacher, a signal, a red flag waving to say, there's a misalignment here. Check your expectations. Check your judgments. The Stoics don't ask you to feel nothing. They ask you to respond with wisdom, not impulse, to see clearly, not react blindly, to build a mind so strong, no insult, no outburst, no injustice can shake your core. So, when the world tests your patience, and it will, remember this. You can't always control what happens, but you can always control what happens next. So, now you understand the importance of pausing before you react, of creating that crucial space between trigger and response. But what do you do within that space? That's where the real transformation begins. The ability to pause gives you more than just control. It gives you clarity. In that quiet moment, you can ask yourself a vital question. Is my reaction aligned with my values? Or is it just frustration dressed as righteousness? It might feel natural to lash out or snap when someone irritates you, but natural doesn't always mean wise. Seneca, the renowned Stoic philosopher, warned us clearly. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Let that sink in. Sometimes, what we do in anger ends up hurting us far more than the original offense ever could. Think of all the times a moment of rage led to days of regret, words you wish you could take back, damage to a relationship, or lost opportunities, all because the reaction came too fast and too hard. That's why Stoicism urges us to pause, not to suppress emotion, but to understand it, to ask simple, powerful questions like, is this anger really necessary? Is this about them or about me? What would someone who values peace do right now? These questions interrupt the cycle. They give you a path away from emotional reactivity and toward intentional action. That one pause, that single breath, can be the difference between chaos and calm. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Here's another Stoic principle that can transform anger: empathy. Yes, empathy, even when someone is rude, even when they don't deserve it. When someone acts in a way that irritates or offends you, try stepping back, not physically, but mentally. Ask yourself, what might this person be going through? Could their actions be a reflection of their own pain, fears, or insecurities? Marcus Aurelius said it best. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what is it that I am really angry about? That question is a doorway. It pulls you away from blame and pushes you toward introspection. Because the truth is, more often than not, we're not really angry at the person. We're angry at our unmet expectations, a past wound they unknowingly triggered, a belief that we're not being respected. Anger isn't always about the present moment. It's often about what it represents to us. And once you realize this, everything shifts. The person in front of you isn't your enemy. They're a fellow human, likely acting from their own struggles. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't know any better. That realization doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it frees you from reacting to it. Instead of taking everything personally, you begin to see behavior as information, not an attack. This reframing allows space for compassion, or at the very least, detachment. And from that place, anger has no room to grow. Here's a truth many of us don't want to admit. A lot of our anger comes from expecting the world to behave how we want it to. We expect people to be kind, thoughtful, fair. We expect drivers to be courteous, co-workers to be respectful, family members to understand us. And when they don't, we explode. Not because their actions were objectively terrible, but because they violated our expectations. Stoicism teaches a crucial lesson here. Unrealistic expectations are a recipe for suffering. Epictetus said, "If you want to be good at something, you must first accept the nature of that thing." Applied to life, if you want to be peaceful, you must first accept the nature of human beings. And what is that nature? People are inconsistent, emotional, flawed, sometimes selfish, sometimes unaware. They will forget to thank you. They will cut corners. They will say things without thinking. But expecting perfection from imperfect people is a sure way to stay perpetually angry. The Stoic solution? Lower your expectations, not your standards, but your assumptions. Expect people to be human, and when they exceed that, let it be a pleasant surprise, not a baseline requirement. This mindset frees you. You stop clinging to how things should be, and you start accepting how they are. And that acceptance is not resignation, it's liberation. Everything we've discussed, the pause, the empathy, the understanding, the acceptance, it all leads to one thing: inner peace. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be emotionless. It doesn't ask you to suppress your feelings or pretend nothing bothers you. What it asks is that you master yourself, so that nothing outside of you can disturb your tranquility. Because when your peace is rooted in your judgment, your values, and your clarity, then no external chaos can take that away from you. Epictetus said it with elegant simplicity. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. True freedom is emotional freedom, not being enslaved by anger, not being manipulated by someone else's actions, not being reactive to every offense or irritation. When you practice Stoic principles daily, when you reflect, pause, empathize, and release expectations, you start to feel something profound. Calm in the middle of conflict, strength in the face of stress, peace in the presence of provocation. And that peace, that's your power. Let's be honest, life will keep testing you. People will still cut you off, interrupt you, say hurtful things. That won't change. But what can change is how you respond. Remember, it's not the world that disturbs you. It's your judgment of the world. And the beautiful part, you have the power to change that judgment. By choosing the path of Stoicism, you choose control over chaos, wisdom over impulse, peace over pride. You're not here to please everyone. You're not here to control others. You're here to master yourself. And when you do, anger loses its grip. You become resilient, centered, and unshakable.